Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, I really appreciate you taking time to answer questions today regarding financial aid, internship opportunities, and transfer student at UNCC. And I'm going to have some questions to ask. First, I want to ask you, what inspired you to be a finance major?
For me, I have always believed that financial knowledge is the ultimate vessel of equity. It's my hope that by having a finance major, that I can improve my life and know how to handle my money responsibly. Growing up, that wasn't something that I really had. So it's my chance to make a difference in my life. And I believe in the power of having financial knowledge. Even if I don't end up using my major directly to work in finance, I believe that it will help me move forward and help me plan for anything, any situation to get through life. If I can handle my money, then that will make things a whole lot easier, hopefully.
Mhm. And what inspired you to go to UNCC among so many universities out there?
Truthfully, for me, financially, it was my only option. I mean, I could have gone to almost any college in the state, but money has been a challenge. So I had to play a game to ensure that this was a possibility. Um, so I chose UNT Charlotte because I can go there and commute. I can stay at home and I don't have to worry about all the expenses, and it's made college an option for me. I worked I worked through my first 2 years of school at CPCC and paid it off. But this was really my only option, and it's the only way I could get financial aid to cover school.
Okay. And I can relate to that because I applied to multiple PhD programs throughout the country. I just couldn't wait to leave Charlotte. I like to venture out. But then common sense came into the picture, and I was able to go to school in state. I'm only 25 minutes from the university and able to do a PhD. So now, in retrospect, sometimes people get saved from themselves, and I was
Yeah.
saved from myself. Yes. And you mentioned CPCC. Can you talk about is any experience you did with the transition going from CPCC to UNCC?
Well, the transition, it was pretty seamless. Transferring from CP to UNCC, they had a lot of programs and they have bilateral degree plans. So I just followed the plan. I mean, CPC is really kind of like a do-it-yourself college. It's set up for working people and adults. So on their side, there wasn't a whole lot of support from the school, but they gave you the resources you needed to move forward. So it was challenging transitioning to UNC Charlotte because going from community college to this is a totally different ball game. It's changed how I have to do work and everything. I mean, I'm grateful for the experience, but it has not been easy. Um,
Okay.
is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I don't know. I just wanted you to share your experiences, but now we can go into financial aid. Have you had any interface, I guess, with the financial aid and admissions website? And if so, how the experience was, pros and cons.
Um, the FAFSA website. Um, I mean, I haven't had any challenges dealing with it. They just changed how you do financial aid last year, um, which was interesting. They've made it so a little bit different. I mean, navigating financial aid in general is stressful just because, I mean, there's not a lot of people there to like actually help you figure it out. So it's always kind of felt like some do it yourself type of deal. Like the website itself, I really have no complaints about. It's
Well,
just
that's the UNCC admissions and financial aid. So I should have said UNCC.
UNCC I've never used their stuff. I've always done it through FAFSA. So I've never really looked at their financial aid stuff. I've just done it directly through what I was taught to use, which is I think it's like the NC financial aid thing. It's called FAFSA. So I've always used that. I'm truthfully not even aware of the
Financial aid.
UNCC financial aid thing. It's historically not been something that's reliable for me. I'm just used to doing it on my own.
Okay. When you applied to UNCC, did you use the admissions website?
I have to think about that.
Hmm. Or was it somebody with direct application by way of CPCC?
I think I submitted it, my application directly through the admissions website. Um, and then eventually someone reached out to me through email, told me I was accepted and all that. It's just been a while. Um,
You recall anything about that experience?
well, I mean, it was easy enough that I forgot about it, I guess. I mean, there was no
It's okay.
challenges. If it was challenging, I would have
Yeah.
remembered it. It
Hmm.
seemed to work well enough because I'm here. So I
Yes.
don't have a whole lot of oh, sorry, that's cat.
It's okay.
Um, so I don't have anything to say about the website itself. Um, I think everything worked all right. Otherwise, I definitely would remember.
Okay. Okay. So it sounded like it was streamlined for you to apply. And because I know the CPCC, actually, my neighbor's kid, well, both of them, one is graduated. They also major in, I don't know if they major in MIS or computer. I think it was MIS, but they took 2 years of classes at CPCC, and one, I think he's a rising senior at CPCC. And the other one, the other brother, his brother graduated by by way of doing CPCC for 2 years and then transitioning to the UNCC. So it worked out great for them.
Yeah,
Have you
it's
applied?
a good school.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, it's I like colleges like CPCC. I mean, I know they're more of a business than a school, but it's affordable enough that it makes it realistic for a lot of people to actually get the opportunity to do education. It's made it possible for me to come here. This was never an option without it. So I'm grateful for my CP experience. This I never would have been able to go to school without them.
Wow.
Um, so it worked out, and I had to play the game to wait until I'm the age to actually get financial aid, um, in a reliable amount, which kind of sucked, but everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
Now, in terms of paid internship, have you sought those? And if you have,
I
how did that
have been
experience go?
looking for them. But true, I have been looking for them, but it has felt like a bit of a dead end. I mean, that's the big disadvantage of transferring. It's like I was just so focused on coming to UNC Charlotte, and then I arrive here and to adjust as a junior. I'm just figuring everything out. It has been hard to get the internship in. I've been looking, but it just hasn't happened. And it's not like I'm a bad applicant. I have a 3.92 GPA and I'm a double major.
Hmm.
Um, but it hasn't been easy. I don't necessarily care for the options that they bring in at the career fairs. It kind of feels like for finance majors that all that's available is an insurance. You can either work for insurance, a bank, or you're going into sales, which
Hmm.
is also one of the reasons I added MIS to diversify my major a bit. But it hasn't been the internship side of UNCC hasn't been the greatest for me, but maybe there are resources that I should be taking advantage of that I just don't know about.
How about, have you looked at career services?
I have, they're just always busy and it's tough for me to get in there.
Okay. Okay.
It may be something I should pursue more,
Yeah.
admittedly, but just dealing with transferring and adjusting in classes has been difficult enough on its own that I definitely feel behind on the internship front.
Yeah, because I actually seen a lot of kids in the career services. I go to the graduate services, which are right across the hallway. And I also used to take a class in that same building at the library. And I heard of kids that go in there to get interview skills, but I never walked in there because it doesn't apply to me as a PhD student, future professor. But it's something
It,
you might want to look at.
I think I will. I just have to figure out where they are and how to get to them.
Mhm. Okay. Now, if I would ask you the contents of this interview, if it was going outside of the class, who would you want to be the recipient and why?
Of this interview,
Yes,
hmm.
based
Well,
on
I don't
how
know how to
things could
answer
be better for
that.
you or improve. Go ahead.
I mean, like if anything about my experience could help someone, I'd want it to be in the hands of whoever could actually make a difference. And I do not know who that is. Um, but if this can be useful in any way to anybody to help something improve, I'm glad with that going to whoever needs to see it.
Okay. And what year are you in now?
I am a senior. I have one more semester after this one. I
Okay,
graduate next December.
okay. So you graduate next December, so you seeking an internship for the summer?
I am looking, but it has been tough.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I was curious about too, because based my interviews is looking at the internships. I'm getting some enlightenment on the internships out there. I know some students they may get an internship because they know someone versus going through a school's resource, and then there's others who are not even aware of the school resources that can help them.
I've been doing my best to utilize the career fairs, but the thing that I just did not understand going into it this year is there's a timeline on when these companies are hiring. So when I went to the career fair to talk to companies and did my elevator pitch and everything went well, but then I'd ask about internships for the summer, by the time I'm looking, they're already filled. I mean, the most useful thing I got from the career fairs they offered at the school was the knowledge that they're actually hiring for these internships in August and in October, not February when they're at the fair advertising internships. So it's, I mean, I wish that I had known about this earlier, but I just didn't have that knowledge. But I learned it through the career fair that there's a timeline on all this stuff for most of the businesses. Um, which kind of sucks, but I'm still figuring out, and who knows, maybe I'll get an internship by the end of it, or I won't, and I'll figure out something else.
Well, I'm positive you will get an internship. The fact you're a double major, you're determined, you have a sense of direction, and now that you have the resources as well in terms of what's available. And I would ask you one more question is that if you could envision that the financial aid, which, by the way, a paid internship can be financial aid for a student. It's not just the experience aspect. But if you were looking at that website in terms of the financial aid side, would you want to see a tie-in between financial aid and internships, or would you want financial internship to stay in the career services? Because the thing about
I
career
think that
services is that they offer for students who are graduating and looking forward to getting a job versus students who are coming back. And I'm just kind of curious about your frame of that.
I think it would be interesting if you could tie internship opportunities to financial aid. Um, I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, I've always tried to get the work study whenever I do the financial aid, but that just never
Mm-hmm.
happens. So
Yeah, I did work
it can
study.
be one more resource to help people. I think that that would be awesome if they provided it to people like me who don't necessarily know what they're doing or are just trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure this out. Um, I think that that could be really helpful. I mean, I think that you'd have to take a bilateral approach. It'd have to be attacked by both sides because
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately resources are limited and opportunities are. So I think that if you were to do that, add it to the financial aid side and then also career services were to do something as well, that'd probably be the best approach in my opinion. Um, but what do I know?
Yeah. Well, you know a lot for sure. But I appreciate your time. Do you have anything else to add before we close out?
Hmm.
Any words of wisdom or
Hmm.
thoughts?
For transfer students, if this gets to them, figure out the internships before you figure out where you're transferring to. Get the idea of how what it takes to get there. I've had tunnel vision. I've been just trying to get to the next step, just trying to get to the university, and that was hard enough. I wish that I knew I needed to focus on that earlier, but I just didn't know. I guess if you could pitch that to people so they're more prepared, that would be awesome.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Okay, we'll go ahead and close out. I really appreciate your time today.
Right.